right, everybody. Welcome to the LAS draft. We're back here for the first week to start it off after everybody played their exhibition matches last week. We are here and we're ready to get it going down into this. Again, it's the LAS draft. If you're just joining us, welcome to Legends Esports over here. It's going to be a great set of games today. Make sure you join us throughout the week. We got plenty of games to go in and around. A lot of leagues that are there for you, even Valorant included. So make sure you tune in for the rest of the week as well as today. But for the first set of games on the day, we're going to be having the Falcons versus the Grizzlies. So these two teams placing up there, going in for their draft last week, were able to select the players that they wanted to select the teams that they ended up getting. So we're here and we're ready to go. Just waiting for some things to get locked in place before we start here. But again, LAS draft. I'm Gundo, by the way. Sorry to introduce myself. I'm gonna be casting on the day for your play-by-play, as well as hosting the desk here. But I'm gonna have Oath alongside me, so he should be here in a few seconds here. And as we're all getting loaded up into the game, I just want to talk about how these things went down last week. Last week we had a couple of set of games on the stream that were just pretty much exhibition matches, right, to show what the players in the LAS draft can do. And with that information, they were able to, go into that and draft themselves their teams, as we are seeing here. Last season, it was the Gators who ended up coming out on top, first place overall, and they were popping off all throughout the season and into the playoffs. So we'll see if a different team is going to be able to take that throne away from them. So I think with that being said, we should be getting ready to go here. I'm just going to check in with everybody on both sides to make sure we're ready to go. But anyways, yes, again, this LAS draft. Welcome. If this is your first time here, we're glad to have you. Make sure you tune in all throughout the week, all throughout the times we do stream this. It is quite a growing community around here for Legends here, and it's always great to have new people and have new people in and around our scene and our community here. So if this is your first time, make sure you join the Discords. They are in the Twitch links and information in the about page for the Twitch channel there. So make sure you join us there. But again, I just want to go down and around over some of these teams. For the Falcons over here, we have Sour Cream up there in the top lane, Karthik in the jungle, Chaos in the mid lane, Rowdy Beast, and Salt Spreader. Those guys are over there for the Falcons, Karthik being the captain over there for his team, while for the Grizzlies, we got Cheeses in the top lane, Stone Kit Kat in the jungle, Metro Dragneel in the mid lane, Chai T and Overcomer down there in the bot lane for themselves. So the Grizzlies having a pretty good roster around, and whenever they're ready to go here, we're gonna let you get into the stream. But it's just interesting. We saw some people pop off last year or last split, and as soon as we get into this, I am gonna invite Oath here whenever he is ready. I'm gonna let him get back into this. I'm ask him real quick. But yes, here we go, straight into the Penta-Q draft. We're going in here, the Falcons versus the Grizzlies. Welcome in, Oath. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to watch some League of Legends.
Yeah, man, me too. I'm ready. I'm excited for the first week of draft. You can already see those bands are flying off. These guys are wasting no time. They want to get straight into this one already. So, I just want to talk about how some of these champ picks are going down for this side. You can already see the Akali, Morgana, and the Seraphine already taken over there for the blue side, while Victor, Zach, and Udyr. What are your thoughts on those bans so far, and already these first picks that are flying out?
A couple of target bans, but mostly we're sticking to what's super strong right now. Victor, super blind pickable. Akali, really oppressive, especially in to the Grizzlies. Seraphine, really easy to pick. And then Zach's actually been climbing his way up the jungle tier list quite a bit after the heavy several nerfs to Chem Tank. Of course, you can still build Chem Tank on Udyr, which is why we don't see him joining the roster. And yeah, I don't mind this B1 or R1 and R2 from Falcons and Grizzlies, picking up Jinx, really strong AD carry right now, and then two things that absolutely annihilate Jinx over on the side of the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that Jinx is gonna have a rough time going into this one, having that Olaf and Leona to lock her down. And that going back to that Jinx pick you were just saying, it's pretty interesting to see how much this champion has gone up in priority there. Just doing so much work in the bot lane. It honestly feels like it's been just changed completely from what it used to be, and it's all after those changes to not only the Q range and the Q changes that they made a while ago, but also the trap delay timer. So, what are your thoughts on like how Jinx has made her way back into the meta, and just overall like when she's comboed with something like this Lulu here, how she can just absolutely take over a game once she has some items?
I mean, the range change you mentioned to the Q really is what started the ball rolling. She's a lot more oppressive in lane. Jinx has always been one of those champions that you could pick and not really feel too bad about it. It plays well into a lot of lanes, but the couple minor changes she's received has just put her up at the top of the list, especially with a lot of the nerfs coming through to other really popular AD carries right now.
Yeah, as you're talking about those nerfs that came out, we saw Kaisa get a little bit of the nerf hammer. Jin, who's being hovered right now, got a hit a little while ago. But overall, some of these champions that are being hovered here just didn't have the best time when they did get hit by that nerf hammer. But they end up locking it in, so I'm going to be interested to see how that matchup goes down there. But overall, I think some pretty good picks on both sides here. The Viego even there coming out for Kartik over there on the blue side for the Falcons. So a champion with some controversy, to be honest. It's been quite buggy since his release, still not even being allowed in pro play and things like that. So, honestly, I like to see him when he's on the Rift, but it can be a nightmare to cast when he's stealing people's abilities left and right and you don't even really know what he's doing. But it's always nice to see him when he does make his way onto the Rift.
Yeah, he's rough for play-by-play. He's finally been enabled. Dallas is happy, but yeah, I mean the other thing that Viego gives you is a lot of flexibility. You can take this champion into 3 different lanes and it's viable. And all 3 of those lanes have not been locked in for Falcons yet, so this Viego could reasonably go wherever he wants to.
Yes, Viego still has the opportunity for flex over there on the Grizzly side. Those champs are pretty set in stone. We kind of see the bot lane and the Olaf is definitely going to be going into the jungle, so no surprises there. But some interesting choices over here. Olaf, we saw it played sometime during this weekend, I believe, in some of the World's matches, but it didn't look as great as I thought it would. But here it is coming out for Stone Kit Kat. I'm going to be interested to see what they can do on that pick for themselves. They are, I believe, a pretty big Sejuani player, so not opting in for that this time around. So the Olaf pick, we're going to see if we can put in some work for their side. The Yone and Darius being banned away, as well as the Yasuo and Malphite. Some not wanting to let the brothers come into this draft at all.
Yeah, 2 of the premier mid lane picks right now. If you're not playing an AD assassin, you're not picking something like Kiana or Talon, and you're not pulling too much magic damage out of those. So Yoan has a little bit more than his brother does, but we'll have to see what else they're willing to put up. Chai T's going to be locking in that Mordekaiser for his team. That's going to be some magic damage over on the side of the Grizzlies. Their damage profile is looking quite a bit better now.
Yeah, their damage is quite a bit spread out there. You got the Mordekaiser with the AP, but Falcons also opting in for the Orianna pick there for Chaos, so pretty good pick themselves. Not surprised to see that one coming out either. Orianna has been, pick or ban all throughout like every league and around the world, and even making it into like the LRS and things like that. So not surprised to see it here. Ori just is one of those super safe mid laners that you can always have reliable engage and sustain damage on. So I'm not surprised to see Chaos picking that one up. He does like to play the Victor, so considering that one was banned away, opts in for the Orianna pick here this time around. And we'll see what Salt Predator is going to lock in last for his team. It's going to be the Urgot. Nice to see that one coming out for his team. And I'm going to be interested to see how that matchup in the top lane, the Urgot versus Mordekaiser. I believe we saw it a lot in Season 8, Season 9 that time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was when that matchup was at its peak, and I'm not surprised to see it coming out already.
Yeah, that was definitely the peak of the matchup, and it was basically right after Aatrox got gutted, because that used to be the matchup, just Aatrox versus Urgot on repeat in top lane. turned into the Mordekaiser. This lane is still really quite volatile, actually. I think it's in a pretty balanced state. It gets down to quite a bit of skill expression and ability timing, so it doesn't feel too bad to play. Not like it used to, at least.
Yeah, it doesn't play like how it used to for sure. I can agree with that point there. The Wukong though coming in, so it's gonna be nice to see that one. While we're gonna be switching it up here for the league client, we're gonna be able to see these picks. We're gonna have couple more minutes to talk about these picks and everything going on there as we do switch it over here. We're going to be able to talk about how these matchups are going to play out. You see the Mordekaiser and Wukong, so another flex pick over there for the side of the Grizzlies. Not too surprised to see those coming out over there. We are seeing the bans left and right. They're just flying out. These guys are ready to get into the game. They are ready to get into it. They don't want to be the ones left out there. So, again, it's just nice to see that draft is back, that we're going to be able to get into these games and be hype about it. Because I honestly, last split, I started casting about week 2, week 3, and it was just bloody left and right. So definitely players playing a little bit more unhinged in the draft phases, and just overall things that I like to see coming out from them. But again, it's going to be nice to see what they can do on the picks that they've opted in here. A little bit low range for the side of the Grizzlies, so it's going to be interesting to see how they combat that against the composition of the Falcons over there on the blue side. What are your thoughts on that, Oath?
Yeah, they are missing a little bit of range. I was going to comment on that. They have a very one-dimensional team fight. That doesn't mean that the team fight's weak necessarily, but I feel like the Falcons definitely have more options when it comes to how they take these fights and how they start them off. I'm a little bit worried, honestly, about how this Orianna versus Wukong matchup is going to go in the mid lane. Orianna is very proficient at punishing melee champions, and if Wukong gets behind early, it can get difficult to come back into that lane.
Yeah, it could be pretty hard to make your way back into the lane as you're talking about, and when you're playing something like that, Orianna, if you do fall behind, you can be a little bit useless when it does come to some of these mid-game fights. So it's going to be real important for him to, kind of secure himself in a safe position until he can get 1 or 2 items and really start doing things over there. But overall, I think they've opted in for a draft that they're comfortable with on both sides. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of crazy stuff coming out here for these teams. Honestly, let me rephrase that. I'm hoping there's going to be some crazy stuff coming out in between these two teams. Falcons and Grizzlies, of course, this is the first week of play for the LAS draft. I'm excited to be here. And again, these matchups look pretty standard somewhat around the table. We haven't seen a whole lot of Viego when he does get through the draft, so Kartik going to be on that one over here. And honestly, I like the champion, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier, how it can be a little bit buggy, but I think comboed with some of these things here, like the Urgot, with these strong lanes in the Jinx, Orianna, and Urgot, it can be pretty good when it does can start ganking some things, get some gold in its pocket, and we'll see what they can actually do on that one this time around. But overall, the Wukong is what I'm going to have my eyes on over there for Metro Dragneel, see what he can do on that one, because LAS draft is known for having quite a few Wukong players who can pop off. I'm shouting you out there, Dallas, but overall, some good players and just good picks overall for themselves, and I'm interested to see what they can do on these.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be an interesting game. Viego's got some good character abilities to steal up these fights around the dragon in the mid game, and if we get any fights at Rift Herald, they're really going to be pretty volatile.
It should be pretty volatile, and overall, I think a lot of engage over here, or a decent amount of engage over here for the side of the Grizzlies, having that Leona, the Wukong. You can do some nice combos with that. Olaf is a very strong early game jungler, even though we've talked about how it can fall off a bit throughout the later stages of the game and things like that. But over here on the side of the Falcons, Urgot does pretty well into some of these other bruiser matchups. He has that rage advantage against the Mordekaiser, so I'm going to be expecting him to get some early waves pushed in, get the level advantage early on, and see what he can do here against Cheeses, because we haven't seen a whole lot of these two players just yet, or at least I don't recall seeing a whole lot from them last draft split. So maybe they're going to be the new carries for their side of their teams, but a lot of known names here as well. We see their Salt Spreader, a fellow streamer over there for the Legends Esports. So I'm not surprised to see him coming out, wanting to play in the LAS draft. Going to be wanting to see what he can do on the Lulu, being that hyper carry support who can just really keep that Jinx alive into the later stages and just keep her carrying the game for sure. So we'll see what he can do on that Lulu pick. Overall, though, some pretty standard compositions here with a decent amount of engage and decent amount of lane pressure all throughout. And these jungle picks, even though we haven't seen too much of them in pro play and things like that, I think they'll be doing just fine in this game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You don't see Olaf a whole lot in pro play because of how one-dimensional he is, but that doesn't mean that he can't take over a game. And the same for Viego. I mean, he hasn't been allowed in pro play, so we don't get to see what pros can do with him. But I think once he does get enabled, that champion's going to be pretty heavily utilized. I mean, the skill ceiling for picking a character that can turn into other characters is pretty nuts in professional hands. And also, the character just has a really good kit.
Yeah, Viego having one of those nasty kits, stealing champions and stealing lives there. We'll see what he can do. We'll see what Karthik can do on that one over there for the Falcons. But 10 seconds for the left arch first. Excuse me, that did not come out right at all. Spectator delay, ending in 5 seconds here. As we're loading up into the game, make sure you're sticking around, talking in chat. We'll be right back in a few minutes there to let you back into the game.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like that, you're coming closer to me. Come shake me, grab me, so I wake up from this dream. I can't breathe, come at me. I don't know if I can speak. Then she said, come with me and let's be free.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're back into the LAS draft. We're going to be starting this one already off to the races. You can see these guys are running off. They want to get this action on and about early on. They don't want to have anything stopping them from getting into this one. But over here for the Falcons on the blue side, we got Sour Cream in the top lane. Karthik over there in the jungle playing the Viego, Chaos in the mid lane playing Orianna, Rowdy Beast, and Salt Spreader down there in the bot lane playing Jinx plus Lulu, the hyper carry duo. Now for the red side, we got the Grizzlies. Cheese is up there in the top lane playing Mordekaiser, Stone Kit Kat in the jungle playing Olaf, Metro Dragneel playing the Wukong, Chai Tea, and Overcomer down there in the bot lane playing Jin plus Leona. So pretty good picks all around the board. Interested to see what these guys can do, and no early shenanigans already to start this one off.
Yeah, we did see the Grizzlies go down there in the bot lane for a ward, and
okay.
yeah, Jesus is going to spot out the two-man invade. Metro Dragnel's actually coming around, but I don't think he wants to contest this.
Yeah, not much he can do.
To back up his homies, so they'll get some wards down the top side. That's pretty solid. They're going to see where Stone Kit Kat's starting, which is really nice actually for Olaf, because Viego can contest Olaf if he has some prio on the level 3 Scuttle Crab. You already see Dragneel going in for...
Yeah, Dragneel already wanted to get that action on early on. Not wanting to let things go there, but again, some interesting matches around the board. We don't see a whole lot of Wukong mid lane, but when it does come out, it can pop off, so not surprised to see it coming out there. For these guys, we'll see what they can do. The bot lane seems pretty standard so far. Not a whole lot of action for themselves. I'm not expecting a whole lot to be happening down here. Leona can start an engage early on onto, you know, Lulu if you can get that level 2 first, and which they are looking for here. Not going to really do much yet, but they are going to hit the 2 first down in the bot lane. But again, opting in for the guard or the aftershock here on the Leona is going to allow him to be a little bit more tanky around some of these fights. So no surprise there coming out for Overcomer. And Leona, one of these notoriously annoying bot lane champions. Hold that, because he's going to go in looking for the engage here. Rowdy Beast is not going to get rooted up here, but Salt Spreader is Chai T and Overcomer getting the better of that bot lane trade so far. But Rowdy Beast not wanting to let that go without trading some back.
Yeah, got a good trade back. They decided to fight in a full minion wave. They did land the good Zenith Blade, and there was some good trading opportunities around Zenith Blade 4th shot. You can get quite a bit of damage down, especially when you've got Dark Harvest added into the mix. But beyond that, one of these bot lanes would have to mess up for there to be a kill this early, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that bot lane is going to, you know, allow themselves to push into this, but Jinx does a pretty good job at, you know, standardizing that lane, not letting anything really happen to that bot lane too badly over there. And no, the best part was Overcomer had to blow his Ignite for that trade, and Salt Spreader and Rowdy Beast still have all of theirs, so it's not really going to mean that much over here. But Kartik is wanting to take away this. Oh no, he misses a smite. Only 30 health was left on that Scuttle Crab. Sour Cream here still wanting to fight this one out, but the lanes are just going to go back to how they were. But Kartik barely losing out on that Scuttle Crab on the top side. Almost had it just 30 health off before that one was going out. Overall, though, it's not going to mean the end of the world for the side of the Falcons over there. They are still going to be doing quite well. They're only down about 8 CS in that jungle. About 11 now that Olaf has taken his chicken camps. But overall, it's still pretty even lanes around the board. You can see Wukong with a slight CS lead there in the mid lane. And this bot lane is still standardizing here. Not a whole lot of action. Metro Dragneel kind of getting a little bit bullied by the Chaos now here in the mid lane. Orianna does a pretty good job with her passive just to get those extra auto attacks out and get that extra damage from them. So no surprises around the board here. Sour Cream up here on the top lane, doing just fine on the Urgot as well, and pretty standard lane states all throughout it. Surprisingly, nobody has died yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for anyone to die this early on with the matchups that we have. The most volatile of which is that mid lane matchup, and Orianna went for the tier start early back into Corrupting Potion, so not a lot of damage coming out of Chaos at this point in time. You know, if you'd gone for like Doran's Ring Amp Tome, which you'd have to be a lot less aggressive with your mana usage, but you'd be putting out a lot more damage, so.
Yeah, for sure, putting out a lot more damage around the board. Orianna here just going into this, and I'm not surprised to see her getting the better of Wukong, but something I am surprised about is how Wukong has managed to get himself a pretty decent CS lead. Metro Dragneel now having the first roam. They're opting in for the Dragon very early on here. No surprises around the map here. It is going to be the Mountain Dragon first. We'll see what they can end up doing here. Overcomer and Stone Kickout are going to be the ones just taking that one away. Wukong went over there to just try and help out a little bit, but overall, Chai T could be in a bad spot here, but Salt and Rowdy Beast are going to have to be a little bit careful around this, not get caught out, or not get caught slacking here in the slightest there. Stone Kick I think just going to help them push in their wave here, allow Chai T and Overcomer to get a reset off and get some items back under the belt as they have been in the bot lane since the start of the game.
Yeah, they want to get this freeze broken and have their wave crash before Chai T takes his back. Really low in mana, has not gotten a reset off yet, but that's a really solid early dragon. They knew that Rowdy Beast had just gone back, so they get to pick that up for themselves. And there's really no answer because Karthik wasn't able to get a successful gank off top lane while that was going on. Some good awareness there from Jesus to avoid that one. So
yeah, pretty good out of Cheeses there to not get caught slacking. And you can see they're opting in for that Seeker's Arm Guard there to give himself some extra armor. We do see that a lot when these AP champs are into these melee matchups here. Metro Dragneel might be looking to get aggressive here though, so it looks like he's just going to get poked out by Chaos there. Not able to do a whole lot against that Wukong right now. Chaos is still doing just fine though. no surprises around that. So overall, very even lane state. You can see the gold is dead even. The only advantage here is for the Grizzlies having that Mountain Dragon. And Cheese is really wanting to get aggressive here. Uses that ultimate, brings him into the Death Realm. But Sour Cream could be trying to answer back. Kartik is up here on the top side. Sour Cream wanted to get aggressive though. Cheeses might just be going down here, but he is still quite tanky. Did get the reset off. Had to use his flash to get away, but he's doing just fine.
Yeah, really healthy after that trade, even after expending his flash, and Stone Kit Cat's back up here, but nothing else is going to happen. For this mid lane matchup, actually the favor goes to Metro Dragneel by far right now, just because his first two items were that serrated dirk into an extra longsword. He has so much more damage than Chaos is able to put out at this point, so Chaos is going to have to get a reset before he can really take any favorable trades, and you can see that reset just came through. We'll see what he picks up here.
Yeah, we'll see what he ends up opting into, but on the top side, that Rift Herald is going to be started up here by Stone Kit Kat. Now on the bot side, the side of the Grizzlies is being pushed in here, but no rotations from the bot sides up towards that Rift Herald. We do see that quite a bit, or quite often when that Rift Herald is wanting to be started up or wanting to be taken early on by a team, but nobody really moving up to that. It's just going to be a standard handshake there, giveaway for the Olaf. Kartik knows he can't really contest that, and it knows his lane states are in a little bit of a worse situation at the moment. So Stone Kit Kat is going to get the better of that, but you can see Metro Dragneel been sitting in the side here for quite a while, just waiting. We'll see if they end up doing anything.
Yeah, just toggled vision to see if he was actually sitting on ward, and he wasn't. He was just outside the fog of war, but they've got so much vision coverage that I really don't think he can get anything done down here, and this is going to quickly turn into a 4v3.
Yeah, it is going to turn into it. Kartik flashes in, gets him with the stun. Metro Dragneel is trying to get away. The Ultra Mega Death Rod is going to blow him up, but it's going to be the first blood going over to Kartik. Now it turns into the Wukong over there on the bot side. They are going to be looking for stuff, but it doesn't look like much is going to happen. Hold that dot because he stuns in. The ultimate comes out. The Shockwave is going to stun them up. Chaos is trying to look for some more. The whole four-man squad from the side of the Falcons come out hot at this 9-minute mark, and that was pretty exciting. Finally, some action in this game. It all started with Metro Dragneel probably going a little too aggressive down there on the bot side, and it ended up costing them pretty big.
Yeah, did not have Stone Kit Kat in his back pocket, but I think the highlight play definitely goes to Kartik there. He picked up the kill and then used all of the mobility from Wukong plus his ultimate to show up on top of the bot lane of Chai T and Overcomer, and they just weren't ready for the Shockwave to come over the top of that.
Yeah, that Shockwave from Chaos really coming in clutch there at the end, and Salt Spreader honestly playing it really well when he was engaged upon. Did use that the wild growth there to keep Metro Dragneel off of him, and then we saw Rowdy Beast there with that Ultra Mega Death Rocket almost destroying his health bar, and Karthik with the last little bit for the cleanup, and then Jin and Overcomer over there kind of just getting caught out of position once they did get a little too far in the lane. Metro Dragneel though still wants to look for action, not being discouraged at all from that last play, but he might be getting discouraged after this one, and Chaos just turns him into mincemeat there with the Orianna. Chaos having to flash away from the Olaf there, uses the Ragnarok just to get away. Stone Kit Kat not able to do a whole lot in that mid lane, and now the bot side from the Grizzlies is moving over to try and defend this wave, but Jinx is just getting free farm down on the bot side, and if you're the side of the Falcons, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, you definitely want her picking up more CS. Actually, I think that was either a misclick or just a bit of a panic moment from Chaos. Absolutely no point for her for Orianna to blow flash there. You had already picked up the kill on Metro Dragneel, and Stone Kit Kat was definitely Ragnaroking away.
Yeah, they are Ragnaroking away, but that is going to be the current call. Open up here. They want to look for this fight. The Grizzlies are looking like they're winning it, but it's going to be a turnaround already. Rowdy Beast picks up one on the other side. Metro Dragneel has already picked up one onto Karthik. It is going to be the Viego going down. Metro Dragneel still looking for the action. Chai T still wanting to get aggressive. Chai T is going to block for Metro Dragneel, but that damage almost took him out. The W is going to come out, but it just barely misses. On the bot side, though, a lot of action overall. And it was all for this Cloud Dragon here. If you're the side of the Grizzlies, you could have really given that one up. But Chai T still wanted to get aggressive, goes in, flashes in, gets that auto attack. Chaos now here might be getting the kill, but it is going to be the back away from the side of the Falcons. They are still up very ahead after that play. Chaos is now 3-0-2. 7-2 is the kill score, and about 2,000 gold in the lead are the Falcons. So pretty good plays overall. That Cloud Dragon crucially stayed up, so I think it's going to be a returned fight down there to the bot side. Neither top lane over there having their TPs to join that one, and overall, I think they did pretty good for themselves considering what was going on down there on the bot side. They were trying their best to hold the line there against them, but it is just looking like a win for the side of the Falcons overall. They got a lot more gold back into their pockets and a lot more just extra money to buy some items. You can already see that Luden's Echo being completed there for Oriana. Some extra things into their back pockets. Overall, Stone Kit Kat here on the bot side. Karthik also doing a pretty good job just farming up, trying to stay relevant in this game. Is down a little bit in the CS department, but has those 2 kills to make up for it. And you can see that Blade of the Rune King already being picked up for him, as well as the Luden's Echo there on the Oriana for herself. So overall, these power spikes are starting to hit Oath, and it's only a matter of time before one of these teams is going to have a big teamfight win into one of these big objectives. But still, it's only the 13-minute mark. We still have a lot of game left to play, even though the scoreline is a little bit favoring the side of the Falcons right now. It's still a very, very even game overall. Only about 1,500 gold separating these teams. The Ultra Mega Death Rocket is going to get stolen. It goes onto the Dragon. It's going to be Rowdy B stealing that away. Stone Kit Kat is going to be scratching their head after that one. That one did not feel good at all. And now Sour Cream might be cut up here on the top side. This could be a bad spot for themselves. Sour Cream is going to try to do their best to get back into this. Cheese is going to take him down in a solo kill. Now might be looking for some more action against Karthik here. Still has the W available. We'll see if he's going to use it. The auto's going to come out. Karthik picks that one up on the bot side, though. More action is coming out already. Chaos is down here trying to get him with the Shockwave. Does use it earlier on. Chaos already picks back one. Rowdy Beast is trying to look for some more. But overall, it's going to be a big fight win down on the bot side and in the top lane for the side of the Falcons. They get one in each direction. They take out the Mordekaiser and they take down Jin. No chance for Chai Tea or Cheeses to do anything against those. Credit to Cheeses, though, after picking up that solo kill.
Metro Dragnel's gonna have to flash away after he's just trying to find anything back. You know, the fact that Jinx picked up that dragon is absolutely disgusting because you also had Karthik on the top side of the map, as far away from the dragon as you could reasonably get, farming away Stone Kit Kat's camps, and then is able to come in and pick up the trade kill onto Jesus after the solo kill on the Sour Cream. So, you know, they're just winning everything on all corners of the map here.
Yeah, the Falcons definitely getting themselves this big lead at the 15-minute mark, or as it's about to be cresting the 15-minute mark. Sour Cream, though, not being discouraged here, realizing that he does have some help coming up there from the Stone Kit Kat. Actually is going to be on the red side here, going in there on the Sour Cream. Not going to be able to do much there. Is that Urgot? And now Sour Cream's really going to have to just start playing a little bit more farther back in the lane. This is the second time he's been caught out in the side lane. We'll see if he makes a change in his play there to not push up as far. Just let the Mordekaiser there just push up the waves and stack up as much as he can. Because right now those 2 deaths are costing him quite a bit. It's still doing quite well in the CS department, but those 2 kills onto him are going to be costing them a little bit. So going to need to see a little bit of a change of play and change of pace there on the top side if Sour Cream is going to want to stay relevant in this game. For now, though, the TP is coming out from him already. They are going to come in here onto this Rift Herald. They want to see if they can contest it, and it's going to be a steal away from the side of the Falcons. So pretty much running away with the map, getting everything they want. In the mid lane, though, Metro Dragneo doing a pretty good job pushing down that mid lane. Salt Spreader wants to get aggressive here. I've never seen a Lulu really do this. Just getting into the face of the Wukong. Wanting to get aggressive, even flashing on top of him. Salt Spreader really wants this one. Is waiting for his team to show up here. Metro Dragneo gonna have that W up soon to get away with the clone. He's going to be able to get it away, but he's going to get taken down again by Chaos. 5-0-2. This man is popping off already. Karthik still wanting to get aggressive here. Is now the Wukong going to use it onto Overcomer. Going to get some extra damage down. Going to use the ultimate Heartbreaker to get into position. But it's not going to mean that much yet. It's just going to be some camp steals taken away here from the Grizzlies. And another kill onto the mid laner of the Grizzlies over there.
There should be no shot that Salt Spreader's ever actually allowed to do that in this game, but they're just so far ahead, and honestly, you can tell Metro Dragneel has no clue what he's supposed to make of that. He even drops the Ignite down onto Lulu for no reason as like a deterrent, and Salt Spreader absolutely not deterred.
Yeah, not being stopped there at all. There is going to be the Rift Herald summoned here in the mid lane. But yeah, Salt Spreader, excuse me, with the Super Chad play on the Lulu. Don't see that a whole lot, already having his Moonstone completed as well. And honestly, I think we should talk a little bit more about this Lulu pick because we were talking about it in the draft, but seeing it in game now, we can see how useful it is in the bot lane around the map just to get things done. You can do a lot of work on that champion. You have the polymorph, you have those wild growths, and the shields just to keep people alive. And not to mention, your Q is having about a 40% slow on a 5-second cooldown, so you can do a whole lot of work on that one. But overall, around the map,
Yeah, for sure.
it's
I mean, the Lulu pick is kind of interesting because I mean it feels amazing to play when you're ahead, right? You feel like whoever your casting abilities on has no chance of dying. But I think what's interesting is that Salt Spreader actually opted into Moonstone here. One, I mean the Moonstone nerfs have kind of made it not an item, but the other thing that kind of confuses me about that pick is that Shirelia's is so strong right now, especially when you're super far ahead like this.
Yeah, Shirelia's allows for you to just get into these fights a lot faster, and I agree with you there. Oh, the Shirelia's can do a whole lot of work, and it's surprising not to see it being picked up here. But when you're this far ahead, I don't really see that much of a difference in the itemizations. But overall, we could be seeing a fight here. It is going to be started up overall, both sides posturing around this dragon. The Ocean's dragon has spawned. The top laners are now moving down slowly. It is going to be Mordekaiser here first. So Cheeses, we'll see if you can be the difference maker, take Viego out of a fight or one of the other members just to get them out and about. So we are going to see what's going to happen here. It is going to be a posturing battle. So it's just really a dragon dance for now. But Urgot is pushing in the mid lane. So it is going to be the side of the Grizzlies. They're going to have to make the first move. The ultimate is going to come out. The shockwave hits on a 2. On the backline go 2 already. This is going to be everything going down already. Metro Dragon already picks up the first. Chai T picks up 1. So the Falcons have lost 2 already. This could be what they needed to come back into this game. But for now, the side of the Grizzlies have won out on the fight so far. Karthik's still in the wings here, waiting to get back into it. We'll see if he ends up doing that one. But for now, overall around the map, nothing much has happened just yet. They are going to go in. Karthik trying to do his best, but he is getting stuck in the middle of 4 members. Overcomer can't do anything, but he is going to survive at the end of the day. Stone Kick already starting up the dragon as well. So it is going to be overall a win for the side of the Grizzlies, and a very much needed at that.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by the positioning coming out from Falcons there. They're definitely feeling like they're so much stronger, but when you have the advantage on the push in the mid lane, you don't need to be up that far. The only thing you need to do is keep vision on the pit and then have Urgot wrap around when eventually the Grizzlies start it. Because the Grizzlies have to start it, right? They've committed all 5 members to that side of the map. You're not going to be able to go back and get the push in mid because then you just surrender the dragon to the Falcons. So it feels like a bit of a misunderstanding of the position that they had because the Falcons definitely had control of that situation until they just let themselves get solar flared raw.
Yeah, before Overcomer was not able to do a whole lot in some of these fights, but when a solar flare like that lands on a 3, it can really be a difference maker, as you're talking about there, Oath. So no surprise that the Grizzlies were able to win out on that one after that. And the initial engage onto the carries of the side of the Falcons was really what allowed them to get the jump onto them and allowed them to really get a good position around that dragon pit afterwards because they were able to push them down onto their bot side towers there and really just push them away from the dragon pit, not let them get close. And even though nobody had really started it up, having that positioning around it can do a whole lot once you are winning that fight and pushing them away from that. But mid lane is going to be able to take down another tower here, so his gold lead evening up quite well. Still only about 1,500 gold lead for the side of the Falcons. Not that much, about half an item there, about 1 component for an item for their team. So we'll see what they can do with that. But for now, the dragon has spawned up, so I'm going to be waiting to see some action come out.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where the Falcons choose to go from here, right? Because they still have a major gold lead. They still have an incredibly powerful Orianna, so they should really be looking for team fights. But with the Baron spawned up, no Rift Herald available to them, and Dragon not on the map, it's kind of hard for them to force a fight right now. Of course, they can keep farming, but eventually, you know, the second items past the mythics are going to come through for Grizzlies, and they're actually going to be able to take the fight that they're looking for if the Falcons wait too long, because their mid-game comp is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, their mid-game composition here is pretty nasty, but as we're holding that thought, we're going to go into this. Chaos might be going down, use the Shockwave, tries a Sombrero, but it's not going to be that much just yet. Metro Dragonio trying to do his best. It is going to be what his best can do. Finds a double kill there in the mid lane, picking up a lot of gold back onto himself, gets that shutdown onto the Orianna, and now it's going to be all 5 members going over here towards the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the only thing Falcons can really look for is another Miracle Super Mega Death Rocket steal. They're not going to be up in time to contest this, and Jinx is staying in the bot lane, so they're definitely not looking to either, even if they felt like trying to take advantage of the fact that this Baron is really early, but both the mid and jungle are going down. There's not going to be a better time for the Grizzlies to take this one.
Yeah, the Grizzlies finding their opening there in the mid lane. It all started off with Metro Dragneel starting that one out and not letting his foot get off the gas there. So no surprise there for me to see that one come out. And going to have that 3 minutes with the Baron there to see what they can do with that one. Overall, though, the side of the Grizzlies have made themselves come back fairly in this mid game. At the 22-minute mark, have been able to secure themselves another dragon and and the first Baron of the game. So we'll see what they can do with these advantages now. You can see their carries there, Eclipse and the Ravenous Hydra there on the Wukong are going to be quite beneficial towards him. Going to be able to sustain around these fights, not going to get blown up as easily, having that extra lifesteal in his kit. But overall here, I'm interested to see what these guys on the side of the Falcons can do to really stem this bleeding, because for most of this game, they had the advantage, but in the last about like 5 minutes, we've seen a big change from the side of the Grizzlies in how they're playing around the map and how they're contesting the objectives, as well as these towers here in the mid lane, securing themselves some of those, and now posturing around this dragon that's going to be spawning here in about 40 seconds.
I mean, it is a pretty standard 2 to 4 man death ball. You've got the Wukong ult and the Ragnarok. You can kind of run at whoever you want to right now. The thing for Falcons to remember is they've got a wave clear advantage between Orianna and the rockets from Jinx. They can't be doing stuff like this though.
Yeah, Jesus might be getting caught out here. He's gonna be, or excuse me, Chaos is gonna be the one who's caught out here. Just gonna get slammed there by the Demolish, or by that on the Mordekaiser there. But now having the mid laner down, there's not a whole lot the side of the Falcons can do to stop this dragon take here from the side of the Grizzlies.
I really don't like this dragon take. You've got a finite amount of time with Baron buff, and you just killed the enemy mid laner, the primary wave clear option for the side of the Falcons. You can take this dragon whenever you want. What you can't do is extend your Baron buff timer just by willpower. You definitely want to be taking towers with your man advantage and your Baron buff, and then look for the objective after.
That's what you ideally want to do. What you ideally don't want to do is get caught out around the Baron top side. Yeah. And Kartik can't really do a whole lot to stop that from happening. Overcomer with a nice Zenith Blade over the wall to catch him out as he was using that Heartbreaker to get away. But again, only a few more seconds are left here on this Baron, about 30. So really only this mid tier 2 is going to be left to take down and taken away here from the side of the Falcons over here. Stone Kick Cat, though, could possibly get caught out here. Mordekaiser is not here to try and contest. So if they do look for a fight, they might be able to win it. Overcomer it might get caught out here, but that Shockwave is going to come out, only lands onto one. The support is going to be the only one hit by that one. In the back line goes to Olaf. He's trying to find it. Stone Kick Cat already takes that one. That's going to be 2 taken down already for the Grizzlies. The Falcons are doing their best to try and stay alive, but Rowdy Beast is going to be the next one to go down. Now the 4th one. Sour Cream can't do anything. He's going to be turned back into milk and just taken down to pieces. A double kill for the Wukong and a double kill for the Olaf. Those two just popped off in this fight. Stone Kick Cat and Metro Dragneel popping off in the last moments of that Baron buff. And honestly, the side of the Falcons getting a little too overzealous to try and contest the push there from the side of the Grizzlies. And it's really going to cost them here, because this is going to be the inhibitor now being taken down from the Grizzlies. Going to be able to secure that for themselves and use that to push it in around the other lanes.
Yeah, opting into that fight there is definitely not the call. Like you're definitely giving out on your outer or your inner towers. Like, you hold the line at the inhibitor this early because you are still in a pretty strong game state, and there's a chance underneath an inhib tower with the much better bottleneck in space. You can probably win a fight off of Shockwave and Super Mega Death Rocket, but fighting around your mid tier tier 2, kind of a yikes for me.
Yeah, pretty interesting choice there to fight around that, having no protection really, and being a man down as well. Viego had been taken down earlier, so opting in for that 4v4, knowing that they're a man down there, possibly just because the Mordekaiser was pushing in the top lane, but overall still not really a fight you want to take, knowing you're down a bunch of gold after the last few objectives had been taken away from them. So honestly, the Falcons are going to be scratching their heads a little bit after that one, because they had a good positioning while they had lost, their mid tier 2. They didn't really have to lose that much more, as Baron buff was already gone. But opting in for that fight there really ended up costing them. And going into the 28-minute mark here, and that 4th dragon spawning up here now in about 2 minutes, at 30-minute mark is going to crest, and it's really going to be up to the Falcons to really deny that last dragon there, the one that they really need for the side of the Grizzlies to secure themselves that Ocean Soul. It's going to be up to them to really just stop that from happening, because there's really no chance of fighting this team or fighting into these teams such like against things like an Olaf, a Wukong, when you do have an Ocean Soul, as well as all the extra sustain they already have in their kits, and the items that they've opted in here. You see that Rift Maker, you see that Ravenous Hydra, the Gore Drinker, a lot of sustaining items here for the side of the Grizzlies. So it's going to be very hard to cut through them, especially when you don't have a whole lot of healing cut, and it's really only on your Lulu and Orianna and your top laner there. Hold that, because Sour Cream might be going down here. It's still in a 1v4
I'm not sure
here.
what Sour Cream's doing underneath this tower.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to flash away from the axe there, and they're just gonna end up taking that the way that they were going to take it to begin with. I think if you're Sour Cream there, you definitely want to save your flash for this next fight, because you're right. If the Ocean Soul goes over to Grizzlies here, barring some major mistake from them, the game just ends. Like, it's Ocean Soul, and you've got a team fight comp that just kind of rolls forward as they continue fighting. The Wukong dash into Cyclone, the Solar Flare comes over the top, you've got Ragnarok going through everything. You kind of just lose to Ocean Soul at that point, because everyone's healing so much that the healing cut isn't going to matter.
Yeah, you essentially make a lot of the members on the side of the Grizzlies raid bosses, and you can really only take down one raid boss at a time in most MMOs there. So it's going to be interesting to see how the side of the Falcons are going to be able to fight into that when they do have to deal with that, if it comes to that. But for now, the Ocean Soul is going to be spawning. The TP is going to be coming out from the Mordekaiser. It's going to be very close to the Dragon Pit, so we'll see if they end up fighting for that one. But Stone Kit Kat is on the flank here by himself. If he doesn't get caught out, he is just fine here. But overall, the Dragon has now spawned. We'll see if the members on the side of Grizzlies are going to opt in for that one. Getting this vision control around this objective already is going to be what they need around this. You can see here Stone Kit Kat waiting on the wings, just really trying to get himself a good position. I would much rather see him in the pit there to secure, but Rowdy Beast here as well. We saw what he did earlier against that that second dragon with the Ultra Mega Death Rocket, so we'll see if they can do anything here. But Cheese is by himself, has not ulted anybody just yet, trying to go in. Actually, now ulting up Karthik, going to take him down first. Zongi's going to come out to keep him alive. Ultra Mega Death Rocket comes out, but that's going to be the Ocean Soul secured. They could be getting ran down here. Chaos ulting himself, not able to do a whole lot in this fight. Sour Cream going to be the first one to go down, or the second one to go down as well. Salt Spreader trying to do his best to run away. And now, with Ocean Soul in their back pocket, as well as a pushing inhibitor, they could very well look to end the game here if you are the Grizzlies, and that it looks like it's just what they're going to do.
Yeah, this game ended at the Ocean Dragon 100%. Speaking of raid bosses, Mordekaiser doing a fantastic cosplay right there.
Oh, yes, a fantastic one at that, but don't let the Olaf catch you here in that one. There's going to be the shutdown already going over to the side of the Falcons. Rowdy Beast trying to do his best to just throw those pot shots. A lot of damage is coming out, but it's not enough to take him down. They are still going to end the game, and now the Grizzlies are going to take the first win of the LAS draft in the first week of play. Popping off in their first one, having to grit their teeth a little bit at the mid-game, but overall coming out on top. And now, with that being said, there's not a whole lot they can do, there's not a whole lot that they could have done that really once that Ocean Soul was taken, right? But overall, the side of the Falcons did play well. It just wasn't enough on the day. So we'll see what they can do coming into next week. They still have many weeks to go. But again, we're going to be able to see here what went down in that game. Overall, the side of the Falcons were not able to take them down in the end. Did not come out on top. And honestly, Chaos doing his best to try and take them out. at the end of the day, but just wasn't enough when it came down to it. So really, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do here going into the next weeks of play. I'm going to pop this graph out real quick, see what these guys did. And you can see there's 17k damage for the Orianna, but it really just wasn't enough when it came down to it in the end. And overall, these two guys coming out on top and making it look easy in the first day. The side of the Grizzlies are going to be able to take it down. And going to the next few weeks, we're going to see what they can do. But for now, we're going to go to a quick break. Make sure you vote for your player of the game. We want to make sure you're seeing those come out. Make sure you vote for them. Going to start that one up right now. The Grizzlies are going to be the ones. Make sure you vote for one of these players. Top, jungle, mid, support, and AD carry. Make sure you vote for the one who you think deserves that one. But for now, we're going to head off to a quick break. And when we come back, it's going to be the Dragons versus Spartans over there on the second match. We'll see what they can do in that one. But for now, we're going to head to a quick break. We'll be right back. everybody. Welcome back. We are here again after that first game. I had the overlays mixed up on that post game screen, but we did see that the Grizzlies took away the win on this time around. And your player of the game was Cheeses, and I know I don't have his KDA up right now, but he did end up with a KD of 3, 2, and 5, popping off after that first game, and definitely was a raid boss at the end of that one. No surprises there. Mordekaisers do tend to do that when they do get quite strong. So pretty good that he did come out on top. And the Grizzlies coming in and staying gridded there. You can see their overcomer popping the GG Falcons after I did have the overlay up the entire time. But again, the Cheeses popping off in that game. The rest of the Grizzlies doing a very good job as well to pop off there, coming out on top this time around in the first week of play. So going to the future weeks, we'll see what they can do coming into those. But again, the side of the Grizzlies were able to take this one away. And now we're going to be loading into the next game very shortly here once we do get everything set up. But we're going to be heading back into a quick few little things to talk about here. Again, it was just a hard-fought battle for both teams there, right? We saw the Falcons coming out on top early. It had about an 8-kill lead at one point. And then at the very end, they were able to secure themselves a dragon with an Ultra Mega Death Rocket. But after that, it did go downhill from there. But shout out to Chaos on the side of the Falcons there. Did the most damage in the game. While he did not come away with the victory there, did do very well on the Orianna. Overall, though, the side of the Grizzlies were able to do quite a bit. Some nasty engages coming out there from the Wukong, as well as Overcomer there with some solid engages there to get things started. So no surprises around the map. Overall, they did a pretty good job at securing themselves the victory here. And interesting to see on the first week of play just how much cohesion they were playing with, how much calm they were really coming out with there at the end of that game or at the mid stages of that game, even though they were behind. So good to see that they were able to stay in it all throughout. So that overall, the side of the Falcons were not able to do it this time around, and it's going to be up to the side of up to the side of the Falcons to really come back in the coming weeks and see what they can do coming into the later stages here. But overall, they did a good job at securing themselves overall. So the Spartans are into about a 20-minute delay. They are in a game at the moment, so interesting to see. But it's not going to be... I don't know how this regulation works. Just let me check how it's going to happen. And it does look like it's going to be... for now, it does look like it's going to be a ban taken off. At least that's what the people in the chat are talking about for now. But we'll see in a few moments. But for now, we're going to send it off to a quick break. See what happens here. But yeah, again, enjoy the music while it is playing. We are going to be back in a little bit longer of a time, just because the Spartans are on a delay at the current moment. So we will be back shortly. But for now, we can just break down the game a little bit more. We saw a lot of good plays from both teams there, doing their best to stay in it overall, and they just did a good job at securing themselves a good spot in the game. But there's not a whole lot to talk about much for the rest of that game. So I am going to send it to a quick break as we are waiting for the Spartans here. So we'll be back shortly once again to get you back into the game.
raining down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of the world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light.
く強く輝いて消えた流れ星ほら命が燃える何かに怯え走り続けたその虚しさのしじまに何を見て何を探してきた自分の声がただ響く幾千万の星の中で惹かれて出会った守り手たちよ回る回る時の輪の中で自分の弱さ強さの先に同じ空誰かが見上げてそう信じて消されない虹の奇跡が届けと冷たい指で涙拭ったあの日がもう帰れない水平線目指して飛び立つ自分の願いを抱いて幾千万の星に呼ばれ交わりすれ違う守り手たちよ回る回る時に抗って未来を願ってもいいですか儚さから目をそらしたぐりせる道の膝橋の向こうかける希望あなたの光あなたの命いたずらに知らさないようにそっとくれた記憶胸に熱く灯し約束の地へもう振り返らずに恋願う歌は空高く
Thank you, everybody, for coming back in. We are back into this one. It is going to be the Dragons versus the Spartans for the second game of the day. I still have Oath alongside me, I believe. But we are here, and we're going to get ready to go into this. But already we're seeing these bands come out. They're just flying off the markets. The Samira, the Sivir already coming off the table as well. So no surprises here to see those taken off the table.
Yeah, not surprised at all to see those taken away. Galio is going to join that list. Already some things popping out in my head. With Samira and Sivir both off the table, Jinx, Tristana, and Jhin all rise in priority. So we'll have to see if we're looking at another B1 Jinx maybe. Or we could be looking at the Tristana if Dragons want to flex a little bit harder. They could still technically take that champ mid if they wanted to. So it does offer them a few more options.
Yeah, plenty of opportunity and options still left on the table. You see Silas, Jhin, Wukong, Galio. So Dallas is not going to be on the Wukong today. Axtrid up there in the top lane against Dallas. Should be a pretty good matchup. Should be pretty interesting up there. So hopefully it's a volatile and bloody because I want to see some solo kills. But overall, the Dragons already going off to the races. You see that Morgana taken off already. It's definitely a flex pick here. It could go down into the support role, or as we've been seeing around the world and in the MSI right now, we've seen it going into the jungle as well. So we'll see if it ends up making its way there. But for now, it is going to be the first pick on the board for the Dragons. We'll see what the Spartans return with.
Yeah, the Spartans have a lot of options into the Morgana pick here. It does it does have some pretty weak matchups in the jungle, so it is exploitable, but then Dragons might just toss it into the support role. So if they want to keep it out of the jungle, there are some things they could select. Otherwise, that would probably actually be the primary role for that champion, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, we'll see if it ends up making its way down there, but again, these flex picks are always difficult to predict where they're going to end up. It is going to be the Ezreal, though, locked in over here for the side of the Spartans. Spectral is going to be on that one down there. So it should be nice to see what he can do on the Ezreal. I have been hearing that he is pretty decent now. Of course, with the item changes, he does not really even have to build a mythic item there. But overall, still decent picks around the board, and we'll see what they end up going into here in a few seconds. Again, as we saw last game, we saw that it was really about which team could blow up at the 17 to 20 minute mark, and we'll see if it ends up happening this game. Already two champions that like to fight around that timing mark in between the Ezreal and Morgana here. Once you have a few items under your belt, you are wanting to fight and get up to the races and brawl it out there. So we'll see what Spectral can do on that when it does get a couple items under his belt. The Karma is going to be the second one locked in over here for the Spartans. The Dragons still having to return their two other ones on their side over there. Overall, we are seeing that it's going to be the Jinx hovered here. And like last game, the Jinx was able to do quite a bit early on, but it didn't end up opting into the win at the end of the day. So we'll see if they can get a win on it this time around. Zolo Bomber is going to be the one locking that in for his team. Still, the rest of the three picks are left open here. It is going to be the Rel being hovered. We'll see if they end up opting into it. That would mean that the Morgana is going to be going into the jungle role, and it's going to be exactly that.
Yeah, it's not super surprising here. Jinx Rel is a really strong bot lane. It doesn't get poked out too heavily by Karma Ezreal, and it has some really good team fighting options. So it's a little bit rough to play that lane as Rel, but she also provides so much gank assist that when Morgana does head bot eventually, you're not going to really feel bad that you're on Rel.
Yeah, for sure. You're not really going to feel that bad here. Rel, one of those champions that came out in season at the end of season 10, right? That just provided so much CC, so much engage that she had to be nerfed after about a month and a half, about 2 months. They couldn't let her continue to be as strong as she was when she was released, even though not a lot of people were playing her at the very beginning. But after seeing her come in and around the leagues around the world and getting her win rate increasing in solo queue and things like that, we saw that she was a very, very strong champion when she did get off to the races there. So interested to see what they're going to be able to do with the Rel there. I always love seeing these flashy engages here that come around the map. And Penny's Removers, they're going to opt in for the Xin Zhao there, locked in for the Spartans. We'll see where it ends up going there. The Cannon and Ysir already taken off the table as well. The Diana to follow that one very shortly after. Not to mention the Set is going to be there, the last one that's going to be locked in. So these guys are flying through the bands, but taking a little bit more time with their picks here. So interesting choices around the board there. And Jin Zhao, I haven't seen a whole lot of this champion, but after getting his change there with the W to allow him to dash a little bit farther once he does get that proc, it is going to be nice to see what he can do in this game here.
Xin Zhao is actually one of those picks that I had in mind when I said if you really don't want to see Morgana go into the jungle, you could pick that early. Instead, they let Dragons select a character that can only go into the support role, and then they picked something that is historically very good in the Morgana jungle. I mean, there's basically no chance Morgana ever fights Xin Zhao. Like, you can ward him off, you can force him to stall his engage by tossing binding his way. Once you get ult and stopwatch much later into the game, you've got a lot better options into him, but early on, level 3, Scuttle Crabs should just go to the Spartans, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. That jungle matchup is definitely going to be hard for Zolo Bomber, but There's a reason why Morgana has made her way from the depths of not really being picked a whole lot in the jungle to being, one of these very strong champions. That clear, man, it's just insane that you can stay so super healthy. But again, I agree with you there that Meliodas is going to have the time of his life if he does find her in the jungle. Going to be able to beat down on her, get that extra damage there, and the extra range with his W can allow him to dash even farther and close in on him. But the Vladimir and Mordekaiser are locked in here for the last 2 picks for the blue side. The Dragon's going to be opting in for those over there. We'll see where they end up going. We saw the Mordekaiser last game just absolutely pop off, so no real surprises there. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do on these champs. So I want to see what they're going to end up doing here. Morgana here is the pickup there, as well as the Mordekaiser and Vlad going to be able to do tons of work. Those 2 big heavy hitting AP champs could honestly be or honestly flex picks as well. So we'll see where they end up going to. But for now, we still don't have the knowledge on them. But if it's my prediction, I think you're going to send that Vlad to the mid lane.
Yeah, it definitely should be headed mid here. Well, that's a bit interesting. Forget what I was saying. That's way less important than this. We just had Nard locked in for the Spartans, and so we've got a major question mark of who's headed into this mid lane here.
Yeah, it should be an interesting selection there, but we'll see where they end up going there. But again, yeah, that Nard locked in last was kind of the curveball that they ended up throwing there. So we'll see what they end up doing and where they end up selecting them once the draft does finally hit. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do. And speaking of the draft, we're going to go right into it. No delays, nothing like that this time around. We're going straight into this one. It is going to be right into the game. So there we go. They are already being taken off the tables there. Nothing going to be left up. We already saw everything earlier in the draft, so no surprises going to be coming out here. But again, man, going back to these points, that Sion and Gnar were the curveballs that they ended up throwing, and I'm not really sure where either one of them is going to end up.
It's just business.
Again, then Gnar might do a little bit better into the Mordekaiser in the top lane, but even in game, we might see them flex it around, see where they end up choosing those champs to go. Hopefully they can run through this draft here very quickly so we can get right into the game, get you guys that action you've been waiting for, and get hyped here in the chat because this is going to be a good one. The Dragons versus the Spartans. Actually, no longer being on the Dragons over there. This time it's going to be the Kumi coming in over there on that side. So we'll see what they end up doing this time around. The Vlad is going to be locked in for the top lane, so it is not going to be the Mordekaiser in the Mordekaiser in the mid lane. It's going to be what's it called? The Vlad up there in the top lane and the Mord down there in the mid lane. And the Gnar going to be the one that ends up going towards the top lane.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me all that much. I mean, Gnar mid is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Gnar mid is actually less popular than Sion mid. That pick I actually have seen before. I don't know if I've ever seen Gnar tossed mid lane, unless it's a lane swap scenario, so... You know, that mid lane matchup is gonna be pretty easy to influence for both of these jungle picks. Actually, two melee matchups, two melee champions matching up in the mid lane who like brawling and running short trades. They're both gonna be running pretty low health bars most of the time. So
yeah, we'll see if they are gonna limit test this time around, going for those more aggressive trading patterns there, but. Again, the Gnar into the Vladimir, both of those champs' range allow them to, stay a little bit more back in the lane. And with all the sustain Vladimir has in the lane, it can be a little bit hard to push him out. So not really what Gnar is going to be wanting to do there. Is really going to want to, really push him out of that lane and not let him get a whole lot of plates off and things like that. But against the Vlad, it's a little bit harder to do that. So if they end up moving it around, we still have a lot of choices that can be made during the game. They could end up opting in to put them in different positions, right? They could just be putting them, or it could just be the players that want to play these champions instead of that of the other side, right? Instead of it just being for the draft here, they could just be placeholders at the moment. Overall, though, I think it's going to be just fine. They're going to going into this draft. So about a minute or about 4 minutes left until we do get into the actual game. But overall, I think two compositions that are pretty interesting here with the interesting choices around the map. Not things we see a whole lot in play around the world and things like that. So the Scion mid going to be interesting to see here. We'll see what Penny's Rumor can do on that, as well as Actually can do on the Gnar in the top lane. We've seen this guy pop off in the past. So if he can do it again here on the Gnar, it's going to be nice to see if you can get those big Gnar bars into the wall, knock some people around, break some heads, throw some boulders around, classic Gnar things. But again, interesting choices for the draft here. Both teams opting in for things that they are pretty comfortable with. So we'll see what they can do going into this game. And Oath, honestly, who do you think has the better team fight composition for this game? Because we saw that last time around where it was very brawly, very skirmishy at the 20-minute mark. It was setting up these plays around the map. So who do you think has that better composition to fight around like that?
That's a tough ask. I think mid-game, you got to give it to the Spartans, but I think the later this game goes, that Vladimir and the Jinx is going to eventually outscale.
Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. We've always seen those Vlad 1v9s where he just hemo plagues into the middle of a team fight, gets 5 members down real low, and then just wipes them out with that getting that extra damage down. Not to mention, having that Jinx alongside it, it's going to be real easy to set those plays up. And when you have things like a Rel to have these nasty engages, it can be nice to see if they can get those big wombo combos off. But, time will tell if we can see that coming into the game here. But on both sides, I think they have things that they wanted to play. Really, the only poke champions here are the Ezreal and the Karma on the side of the Spartans for the red side over here, but the rest of the composition is a little bit more interesting to play out, right? You have the Gnar, you have these teamfight ultimates, you can, drive someone down with the Scion Mobile, with that unstoppable onslaught, not to mention Xin Zhao is a great fighter, can stop some of these pot shots coming in there from the Jinx if she just decides to go for those, so overall, I think both teams came out on what they wanted in this draft, so it's really going to be up to see which team has the better individual execution, which team will come out fighting more, and which team is going to be the one that comes out on top, because that's what I'm more interested about. We saw the Grizzlies, while they were losing in the early game last game, they came back, they fought their way out of the deficit they did have, which allowed them to go into the mid game pretty strong and then eventually close that one out. So we'll see which team ends up being the one that has to claw their way out this time around, but we could also be looking down the barrel of a banger game here that lasts quite a while. You got some scaling champs on both sides, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. And only a minute here left until we do get into the game, and just want to talk about these picks a little bit more here. The Karma Ezreal, very safe lane down there. The Jinx Rel, also pretty safe there. Juanito Sol, we saw him last week popping off in the game of the day, as well as Official Mako last week too. So no surprise there that they're coming out this week to come out on top as well again. But both teams are going to have to see what they can do here. Going to have their work cut out for them in this game to try and secure themselves a lead around the mid game and push it out to close out this game.
Yeah, we've got a couple seconds left on this spectator delay. It'll be some interesting early lane states for us to analyze, and honestly, I'm looking forward to a really solid game. Both these squads have some great players, some players who are veterans in the LAS draft who we know pretty well, so we know what to expect of them. At the same time, we've got a couple of rookies, so
yeah, some rookies coming out here. Going to be nice to see what they can do, and that's what it's all about, right? Getting these new players in, getting them into playing for Legends here. But as we are loading in here, it's going to be a few more seconds, so we're going to head into the pregame load in. Make sure you listen to that song, and then we'll be right back into the game.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like that, you're coming close.
All right, everybody, we are back into it again. Sorry if I just blew up your eardrums there by yelling it out there, but we are back. We're all ready to go, and it's going to be a banger, the Dragons versus the Spartans. So over here on the blue side, we got the Dragons, Dallas up there in the top lane playing Vladimir, Zolo Bomber in the jungle playing, Morgana. In the mid lane, we got the Kumi playing, actually, it's going to be a lane swap. Excuse me, I got to move these around real quick, but it is going to be the Vlad up there in the top lane. So it's going to be up there with Dallas. Overall, though, the Kumi here on the Mordekaiser here, Juanito Sol and Official Mako down there in the bot lane playing Jinx and Rel. Now for the red side, we got Axred in the top lane playing Nar, Meliodas in the jungle playing Jin Zhao, Panties Remover in the mid lane playing Sion, and Spectral 650 with Moyushi down here playing Ezreal and Karma. So should be a pretty good lane state for them. Overall, they're going to do just fine, securing themselves an early advantage. We'll see if they can actually do that. I'm speaking hypothetically, of course, but again, Oath, we're right into this one. Dragons versus the Spartans.
Yeah, and for me, my eyes are on this mid lane, that matchup that we talked about. We've got the two melees up against each other. I would honestly, based on how strong Xin Zhao is early, he is starting the blue side, but I would not mind seeing him go early into this mid lane to get guaranteed prio before moving off to one of the Scuttle Crabs, because he also shouldn't lose the Scuttle Crab fight either, right? So if he just assumes that he's stronger, which he is, he shouldn't have any trouble securing whatever he wants in the first 4 levels or so.
Yeah, we'll see if he can, get that done for himself. But again, that early advantage is gonna go to have to go to them for sure. But this mid lane matchup here, I haven't really seen it a whole lot. At least I've seen it in the top lane, right? But I haven't seen it played here in the mid lane in a very long time. I think the last time I saw Mordekaiser mid lane against a Sion was probably back before he was reworked. So opting in for it this time around is the Kumi. Is going to get real low here. That devastating smash does do quite a bit of damage. So the Kumi is going to get quite low here. Has to use that potion already. So not feeling the best after that this time around. But overall, I think he's just doing just fine around the map. Panties Remover doing a good job. Just pressuring him around. That's what we see a lot of Scions do against some of these other melee matchups. He's going to look for something here. Does slow him there with the E. He's going to get him locked up as well. Panties Remover is going to get low as well. But overall, it's just going to be the mid lane trading back and forth around the map. Not really doing a whole lot besides that.
Yeah, and at this point, no potions for either side up in that mid lane.
Yeah, no potions for either side, but Dallas is up here on the top side. Might be the best spot. Zolo Bomber is here. The Morgana Q is going to come out. Dark Binding lands, but it's not going to mean anything else. Zolo Bomber isn't even going to look for more. It does auto-in, so he's going to see if he can do it, but Meliodas is trying to stop him here. Zolo Bomber gets the kill, but that's about it. Zolo Bomber is going to continue to run away, so it's 1-for-1 on the top side, but that's going to be where it ends. Excuse me, it's not going to be where it ends. Takumi is here to try and start this one up. Meliodas is going to get pulled back in. The E comes out, but he does find one back. Another 1-for-1 on the top side, and we didn't see a kill for about 8 minutes in the last game, but this one is off to the races, Oath, and that's what I like to see.
Yeah, we got that early roam. We got the fight that we wanted. The gank went up to the top side and not the mid, so I miscalled that slightly, but I'll take it. We'll take it. It's a 2-0 for Zolo Bomber in the jungle on Morgana. It's actually gonna shift the power advantage in jungle fight early to Zolo Bomber if he plays it correctly. He shouldn't ever still take a straight up fight with Meliodas isolated, but is definitely going to make most early objectives way more contestable than they should have been.
Yeah, these allowing themselves to get that early gold onto the Morgana there is going to allow her to pressure around some of these Rift scuttlers too, right? Morgana's going to have you were talking about earlier in the draft, right? That the Jin Zhao is going to be able to bully out the Morgana whenever she sees her, but she's got 2 kills already and opting in for the Void Boots here to get around the map a little bit faster is going to be able to pressure around some of these the camps here that Meliodas wants to take here. You can already see he took that scuttle on the top side, but going back to this top side, Axred is just locking him down. The W has not come out from the Gnar here. It has not been locked up, but Dallas could be going down here. Use the pool finally to get away. A little bit more damage would have done it, but he is going to stay alive. Dallas doing a great job at surviving to that top lane gank. Didn't manage to do it the first time around, but this time was able to do it. So Official Mako going in, use the E to lock him up. little bit more damage to get onto Spectral. Juanito Soul is going to get locked up here with the exhaust. The tether comes out from Karma as well, and Moyushi trying to get some damage down. Spectral is just fine in that trade on the bot side as well, though.
Yeah, some good trades out in the bot lane. No significant CS leads to speak of there. There is a little bit of counterbalance between the top side for Spartans and the mid lane for Dragons. So overall, the gold not going to be too much different. Just about a 500 lead for the side of the Dragons right now.
Yeah, just a little bit of gold separating these two teams. You can already see pings there from the Dragons going onto the Dragon. You know, Morgana realizes she is strong here. Zolo Bomber wanted to take that one early, get those stacked up and ready. So we'll see if they can secure. They do have that bot lane pushed in quite well, so they are able to rotate. And this has been the theme of League of Legends for some time now. When you got priority, you get the advantage over these objectives. So you can see him going in there. Axford, though, wanting to look for a fight up here on the top side. And the bot side, though, it's just going to be the Dragon taken away. Axford is looking for the solo kill. He is going to find it. The Gnar bar coming in handy at the end, and Dallas just wasn't level 6 yet. Gets taken down against Axford up there in the top lane. Can't do a whole lot to survive against that big Gnar coming into his face.
Yeah, Dallas is playing pretty disrespectfully for somebody who died so early on a champion that's not supposed to be that strong early to begin with.
Yeah.
A bit surprising to see him so far up in the lane that he actually dies there.
Yeah, honestly playing disrespectfully, and while we were talking about that Dallas disrespect up there in the top lane, Juanito Soul couldn't really do anything against that Xin Zhao gank down on the bot side, but overall still feeling just fine. You know, farming well, staying alive down there. Has that Noon Quiver now, but going back to that Dallas point earlier, he does have the items, right? He does have, you know, that Hextech Alternator, I believe is what it's called. Don't flame me if I'm wrong, but yes, Hextech Alternator. But yeah, he's doing, you know, what Vladimir should do, trying to farm, but not doing the part of staying safe in the lane. So we'll see if he can get to those item breakpoints that he really needs to really start being a bully in the lane and being this team fight monster. But for now, pretty even lane state or game state overall. Only the Dragon separating these two teams, and about 500 gold towards the side of the Spartans in the lead there. But overall, even game to start this one off.
Yeah, we're staying pretty even. No gold leads to speak of. That Infernal going over to the Dragons is going to accelerate the pace of this game a little bit, which is good for them because, you know, if things keep going the way I expect them to, they are going to start losing mid-game fights a little bit.
Okay, Dallas is not going to be able to do a whole lot here. Does not get hit by the W on the return there. Dallas is just going to go in some more there. Solo Bomber is up here on the top side. He does use a Q. Dark Binding lands onto one. Meliodas could be trying to look for this kill here. Axford still has a lot of damage left in the tank. The TP is going to come in here now from the Kumi. No return just yet. The Ultra Mega Death Rocket comes out. It blows up one. The Q is going to miss onto Meliodas because of the ult there from the Xin Zhao, but he's going to be just fine. Now the Kumi is going to be able to pick up a kill as well. So it's a 2-for-1 up here on the top side, and the Dragons finally got some gold back into their pockets. They were starting to bleed a little bit up there on the top side. Dallas dies again, but at the cost of 2 members from the side of the Spartans, so they're not feeling too bad after losing their top laner in that last skirmish there.
I would love to see Panties Remover teleport bot right now. They've got a really good ward for it. They know that Ikumi just used his TP and Super Mega Death Rocket is down. If you're going to make a play bot side, this is your chance. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on it. He's already back out into the wave in mid, but that was a solid opportunity. If he wanted to do that, then there was basically nothing the Dragons could have done to stop it.
Yeah, not a whole lot they could have really done. The TP is both down except for Dallas having his, so maybe that was the thought process, but no idea here. Dallas is just going to walk out of the unstoppable onslaught there and doesn't get hit there. You can see the lane swap coming out here, sending the Mordekaiser to the top lane to try and deal with that Gnar as he's a little bit stronger, and the Kumi maybe thinking that he has a better chance against that Gnar than Dallas has had. So moving him here towards the mid lane. Don't want him to get caught out once again, but speaking back to that point of that TP flank that they could have had, Official Mako was trying to look for some action here as he used the ultimate now, pulls back into Karma. Juanito Soul is trying to get some more damage down, but Official Mako doesn't have enough damage in the tank, neither does Juanito Soul, but Spectral, he wants this fight, he wants the action, he's got flashes in, gets the Q, the Ultra Mega Death Rocket comes out, but it's not enough to take him down, so Spectral finds a kill on the bot side after that skirmish down there, and Official Mako thought he had enough damage and enough CC to keep them locked in place long enough, but It just wasn't enough to take down the bot lane from the side of the Spartans.
Yeah, Spectral basically went untouched in the beginning of that fight, and once the True Shot Barrage came over the top and hit both were too low to really contest. Of course, Rel, once you've burned all of your CC, you're pretty much a sitting duck. You're about as weak at the weak in lane with no cooldowns as any support I can think of. So
Yeah, not gonna be feeling good after that one. You know, Karma, we don't see her a whole lot anymore in the bot lane. We usually see it as a weird niche pick up there in the top lane, and we've kind of headed towards this meta of where it's very engage heavy supports down there in the bot lane. But when you have a strong, you know, enchantress support like this Karma that can keep your team alive, it can be just a pain to play against. We've seen it before with the Seraphine. A lot of people used to play that one. After some nerfs coming out towards some of the items that, as we were talking about earlier with that the Moonstone Renewer, people didn't play it as much, but that doesn't mean the enchanters are any weaker. Those items can still do plenty of work for you in the late game. We've seen things like the turbo, I forgot what it's called, Chem Puck Chainsword, or one of the chem items that gives a healing reduction towards the enemy team there that you can buff somebody up with. But hold that, because there is fights breaking out over the map here. Penny's Renewer is barely going to be able to stay alive. Ultra Mega Death Rocket comes out, picks him off. Juanita Soul picks up another one, but it's not enough to keep the team in position to take down this mid inhibitor, or this mid tower, excuse me. The dragon is up now, though, so we'll see what they end up opting in here for, but both teams are spotting around it. We'll see if a fight breaks out here for now. The ultimates are up on the Rel, so we'll see if they end up doing it, but Solo Bomber over the wall. Here comes Axford. He's trying to find something. Does not land the Gnar onto anybody. He is trying to lock up Juanita Soul. The Boulder Toss is going to come out, lock him in place. Meliodas could be in a bad spot here. He's the first one to go down. Juanita Soul now gets to get excited. Is moving faster into the fight, but here is nothing else. Here is everything that you want to see from a fight. Both teams throwing it back and forth. Unstoppable Onslaught comes out. Juanita Soul could be in a bad spot here. Pain's Remover TPing in to get that one down. Official Mako could be in a bad spot as well. Axford trying to continue the chase here. Two control wards, not just one, come out to try and chase him out, but Axford just going to think back and go back towards that Infernal Dragon that is now available. Overall, though, both teams got what they wanted around that fight, and the Falcons, the Dragons come out a little bit more ahead, but Penny's Remover flashing in the tower takes him out. Does not let Dallas see another light of the day.
yeah, Dallas is having a pretty rough game here. He's down.
Okay.
All right, Solo Bomber, I see you.
All right.
There's no shot that ever actually happens, right? The Meliodas was not on blue that whole time, right? He was standing in the pit with Smite. We saw that.
Yeah, 100% he was there. 100%.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's. I don't have anything else to say about that. But yeah, you know, I mean, they're winning out on the kills on the side of the Spartans, but they're losing out on the objectives, even when they're ahead and they've won the fight already. So, you know, it's a little bit unfortunate there that they weren't able to pick that one up, but they do have a lot of standing gold left in this mid lane, and this mid game is going to continue getting stronger and stronger. Just the nature of their champions. Xin Zhao is going to start falling off. Ezreal is eventually going to start having some trouble dealing with the front line coming through and the backline dive from Dallas if he can ever really get online on this Vladimir.
Yeah, and you can see here, still not deterred at all after dying in that last fight against the Scion. Still playing very aggressively in the lane, still posturing very well. And not deterred against this Scion that's standing right in front of him. You can see already finishing up his Hextech Rocket Belt as well. Most of the first items here completed for the side of the Dragons already. Having about a 3,000 gold lead and 2 Dragons in their back pocket as well. They're looking pretty good going into the 15-minute mark here. So we'll see what they end up doing with these advantages that they have secured for themselves. But Xin Zhao still looking for this. Meliodas wants the action here, wants to continue to find these fights. Does have the Q already. He's going to knock him up, but Dallas is just going to walk away just fine. Uses that Rocket Belt to reposition. On the top side, though, the Kumi getting a pretty good push up against this Gnar. Playing the side lane quite well still. Not a whole lot that Axford can really do against him right now.
Yeah, it's very difficult for Gnar to do anything into Mordekaiser at the state he's in right now. Axford has not been back to pick up a mythic yet, and that power spike alone makes it pretty much impossible to fight even if you're outside the Death Realm. When you're in the Death Realm, no shot. You lose those every time.
Yeah, when you're in the Death Realm, you lose those easily. But Axford flashing over the wall to try and get something down. Unstoppable Onslaught is going to come back, but doesn't really land onto anybody. The Kumi is here, trying to do as much damage as he can. Zolo Bomber finding that first kill onto the Scion. Meliodas could be the next one going down. Dallas trying to find the kill, but he's going to get knocked up by Meliodas now. Is a little bit more damage would have done it. He does find the kill at the end. It's just going to be those 2 kills going over to the side of the Dragons, finding 2 more into their pockets. Feeling good after that skirmish up there on the top side jungle. And oh, it's looking pretty bad now for the Spartans. They're about 4,000 gold behind. They have those 2 dragons against them, and when you have these big winning lanes that you can't really contest against, it can be hard to contest those objectives or even walk into some of these choke points. So it's going to be really up to the Spartans to find their way in.
It can get pretty difficult, especially when you haven't been doing a good job of stalling out with the dragons. You had one get stolen, you had one go over early, so you know you're going to be forced to fight. And so it's a little bit odd to me that the Spartans actually opted into that one, because you know at this point in the game you definitely want to be saving your resources to fight around the objectives like the mid tower that Dallas was able to take for free.
Yeah, you definitely want to be saving those flashes, those big team fight ultimates to fight around what you need to defend. And they were really only fighting for a red buff in that last fight, so a little bit questionable decision to just not let that one go and not give it away. But you know, you got to make these decisions firsthand, and it was honestly just the Dragons the first to pull the trigger there. So we'll see if they end up doing it again. The Dragon is going to be spawning here in about a minute time, so with the game plans, with both teams having their game plans in mind, we'll see which one ends up you know, thinking what they can do first. For the side of the Dragons, I think they really just want to keep fighting, make this game as bloody as possible, make it disorganized, not give the Spartans to think. And for the Spartans over there, I really think they're going to need to, you know, sit down, take their time around these fights, let their Ezreal poke out some of the carries, and just get themselves into a better position. But with that in mind, the Dragons is now being warded up here. So any thoughts on the vision control that the side of the Spartans are securing for themselves?
No, they're doing a pretty good job vision-wise. Honestly, they don't have anything currently in the pit, but they've got some defensive control wards. So if they want to walk through lane, get lane priority, and then walk straight down into the dragon, they've got a pretty good shot there.
Yeah, they have a pretty good shot down around that dragon pit, but if they lose their mid lane here, it could be very, very bad for them if that fight breaks out. For now, Pain's Remover is trying to do his best to stay alive, but he can't do anything at all. The TP is going to come out here, but he's going to get locked in into the Death Realm. Axford can't do anything to get away. Is locked up in a 1v1 against the Kumi. He's trying to find the kill here. Can the Kumi find it? A little bit more damage would do it, but is not going to waste his flash to go in there and find it. So for now, the Kumi getting the better of that one. And on the bot side, it looks like it's going to be another free dragon for the Dragons, but it's going to be a solo kill on the top side for the Kumi. Going in there, flashing in, getting that Obliterate down, making that one look easy.
Yeah, and the Dragons are getting everything they want on all sides of the map here. It's really just the kind of thing where you know that you have the opportunity to do something if you're the Spartans, and then you burn your resources in the wrong spot. Like Panties Remover going for Dallas there in the mid lane. Even if you get that solo kill, you're probably waste enough resources that you can't really join the dragon fight, even if you do get your reset off, and then or actually get the solo kill on Dallas to begin with. So a bit of an interesting call there, and it does cost them on both sides of the map. Yeah,
it does end up costing them pretty heavily. The Rel is going to come out, uses that pool to bring him back in. Well, Yushi's going to be the first one to go down. Mako with the engage to start it off, finds the first one, but official Mako might be going down as well. So Spectral picking the one back. So support's traded down there on the bot side. But overall, the side of the Dragons are still getting everything they want. That Dark Binding is going to land. A lot of damage already going down onto him. In the mid lane, though, Dallas trying to do his best to fight 2 members from the side of the Spartans. He's trying to do his best to survive here. Is going to do pretty well here. Has a lot of damage in his kit, but he can't get that second Q off. Can't get that transfusion back to heal himself up. And he gets taken down in the mid lane. Still, though, not much that the Spartans can really take off that kill. The Baron hasn't even really spawned yet, so really just a kill for as a constellation prize to get some extra gold in their back pockets.
Yeah, they'll take the gold, and they'll take the time Dallas doesn't have to keep farming the map. They'll also probably be able to knock down this mid tower on the next time they get a chance to free hit it, so that damage is not, you know, it's not that it's negligible, it's just that they aren't able to pick up any objectives the way that the Dragons were off of their last couple of kills.
Yeah, I mean, the Dragons have been fighting around these objective timers, right? They're able to secure the kills and then secure the objectives, and that's been really smart to see, and really, you know, showing of what a good team does with their timers and how they move around the map. So I like that they've been doing that so far. You can see all these items already completed. Mordekaiser already having the Nashor's Tooth already, so the Kumi going to be very strong in some of these fights. We might be even seeing a repeat raid boss Mordekaiser like last game, so we'll see what ends up happening in that department. But around the map here, it's going to be up to the Spartans to stem this bleeding. They're 6,000 gold behind. Dallas still very strong here, even flashing on top of Moyushi, using that E. The Ultra Mega Death Rocket comes out, blows them up into tiny little pieces. Dallas still trying to continue the chase. A lot of damage on that Empowered Transfusion, and able to almost blow him up with that second one without any extra damage. Ezreal even having to flash away, so Spectral going to be feeling a little bit disappointed after that one. Official Maker, though, trying to find the engage here on to Meliodas, and Meliodas respecting and flashing away. Overall, though, both teams here having to do their best to try and stop the bleeding. Really, the Dragons have the full control of this map. Dallas, and even though he was dying quite a bit in lane, is still doing pretty well here. Official Mako just hex flashing over the wall even. Not even letting them do anything to him. And now the second charge of the Rift Charge is going to come out. That's going to be the fight breaking out. We see it coming out. Meliodas is in the middle trying to do his best. Takes out one already. Now Kumi takes out the first one on the other side, though. Penny's Remover trying to do his best to tank as much as he can. Muyushi on the other side, though, doing his best and his damnedest to try and stay alive. Actred now into the back line using the Gnar. Has not used it just yet. Just Gnars the Kumi away. Can't do anything to defend himself. Flashing over the death charge, over that the death grasp or whatever it's called. But that's going to be the full team on the side of the Spartans. Not able to do much. Spectral, the last member on his team. Juanito Sol even flashing in after him, trying to get this kill. A little bit more would have done it. Finds it in the end. That's going to be the ace going over to the side of the Dragons. And they want to end it at the 22-minute mark. They said, we waited long enough for you Spartans, and we want to end this one early. So now the side of the Dragons are going to be able to take down that first inhibitor, move towards this mid lane, and even secure themselves some extra gold around the map. With the Dragon spawning in a minute here, I don't see a way where the Spartans can really even contest it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually get any contest. They do have the TP from Axrid and the Gnar about to come back up, so they are going to have the resources. They're not going to quite have the summoner spells they need. I think there's a chance Moyusi's flash is going to be up, but that's about it. So it's going to be a tough ask for them to try and stave off this soul, but much like the last game, if you don't stop this mountain soul from dropping, your chances of finishing the game with a W are slim to none.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to claw yourself out of this one. You can see them, they're not even walking towards their top side. They're just going to sack that completely. And they really want to set up for this dragon because they know if the side of the dragon secure themselves this mountain soul, they're going to be very hard to deal with. You already are having trouble with dealing with Dallas, and you can see him now in a 1v4 drawing all 5 members. Actually, Dallas is just trying to buy as much time as he can. Going to go down in the end there, but Meliodas not towards the dragon pit to try and steal it away. So it is going to be the side of the dragons able to get a clean secure here. They are going to be able to take that one down. Are they going to look for the fight though? The unstoppable onslaught goes in. Penny's Remover's first one. Meliodas and Spectral on the other side, though, getting real low. The Kumi is doing his best and his damnedest to try be the raid boss that his team needs. On the backside, though, Juanito Sol just throwing in pot shot after pot shot, looking to end this one in. The Kumi trying to look for some more here, but Juanito Sol is continuing to chase. Not much that the side of the Spartans can do after securing the kill onto Dallas.
Yeah, they burned all the resources on Dallas, including the window that they had to actually contest the dragon. And although he does drop, basically he 1v5 he 1v5s long enough to secure the soul for his team. So
yeah, and it ended up happening. Right now they have the soul in their back pocket. They could even look to the Baron after they secure this mid inhibitor as well. So everything going right here with the side of the Dragons, and not much on the other side for the Spartans. And you can see their Dallas is definitely online now, having that death cap and that rocket belt there, just almost one-shotting Spectral there. So it's going to be really important for the side of Spartans if they want to even have a chance in staying in this game to just play back, play around the team fights, and not just tunnel on one member caught out. So that's not really what their team composition is going to do. They're not a team. They're not a pick composition. They're more of this team fight heavy, shoot from the back, let the Ezreal poke, and fight that way type of composition, but it hasn't been working for them all game, and it's not really going to work for them now as they are just getting their base completely destroyed. Official Mako's in the front line trying to do his best. Onslaught with Onslaught, a lot of damage is going out. Dallas already picking up the first one. They're trying to do their best. Actor is in the back line. Official Mako already taking out Meliodas. Juanito Sol is untouched in the back line. He's making it look easy. A double kill now for the Kumi. That's going to be 4 members down from the side of the Spartans, and they made them wait. They wanted this one to go up in flames, and now the Dragons are going to be able to turn them into Dragon's Breath and turn them into pieces. That's going to be a big W for the Dragons on the first week of play and make this game look easy.
Yeah, a really clean game there for the Dragons. Dallas, you know, he died a lot in lane, but he absorbed so much pressure that the rest of his team was able to just pop off and take 4 uncontested Dragons. Well, that's not true. One of them was stolen. Props to Zolo Bomber for that one, but overall a really easy game for them.
Yeah, overall a very easy game for the side of the Dragons, and they come out on top, right? It's kind of what we were expecting there. Both teams had very strong team compositions to play around. Of course, everybody make sure you vote for your player of the game over there in the Twitch chat. It is now up and available, so make sure you do that one. Dallas definitely coming in at the end there. Did die quite a few times at the early stages of the game, but still topping the damage charts at the end of this one. So we'll see what ends up happening there now that they have that in position to go. Overall, though, they did a great job at securing themselves this victory here. The Dragons going to be the first ones to take this one into this first week, and overall they came out on top with not much of a chance for them to really take them out there. But again, it's really nice to see that coming into the first week that these guys are coming out hot, they're coming out ready to play, they're coming out aggressive, and this is what I like to see with teams that are starting out here. Even in the LAS draft here, these guys are just drafted each other, wanting to play with each other. So here they are, and they're popping off already. Juanito Sol in that last fight there, being untouched, was insane to see. But honestly, every member on the side of the Dragons doing their job and doing what their team asked of them. So overall, they get the victory here, and we'll see what they can do in the coming weeks. We saw them make it to the semifinals last LAS draft, so no surprises there that they are coming out hot to start this one out again. The Spartans, though, going to have to do a little bit better of a job playing around their win conditions and securing themselves early objectives, because in that last game, it was very hard for them to secure anything around the map. But we're going to send it off to the last break of the day, and when we come back, we're going to just let you off with the player of the game and end this stream off with some music there. But overall, though, thanks for catching this game. We'll be heading into the break right now. All right, everybody, welcome back. I cut that break a little bit short just to get right into this one. There is still about 30 seconds left, but I believe everybody has finished voting over there on the Twitch chat over there. So we're going to close it over there. But again, it is Dallas taking this one away, ending up there with a 4-7-12 scoreline. Popping off in those last few fights, you saw him almost one-shot some people there. No surprise to see him getting most of the votes there in that last little bit. But again, everybody, thanks for joining us. This has been the LAS Draft Week 1. We saw the Grizzlies take the first game. We saw the Dragons take the second one. And it was great having all of you in the chat typing there. But Dallas taking away the first victory here in the first game. So we'll see what they can do coming into the next week. Dragons coming out hot. Dallas being the player of the game this time around. But again, thank you everybody for joining us. We are going to head to the end, let this one play out, and we'll let you guys out with some music.